Welcome back now to WKYT News. Last night, the Dolphins quarterback suffered a concussion from a hit by a Bulls defender. It is his third in 2 years.
And as Friday Night Football kicks off tonight, we talked with KHSAA Commissioner Julian Tackett about high school football concussions and some headgear designed to reduce the impacts. WKYT's Carly Hoxton and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw have the details. It's a story new at 6.
When you see a kid get hit like that, you always cringe.
We asked UK Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine about head injuries. They oversee football-related concussion data from 28 area high school and middle schools. They say the reported number of concussions are up. They attribute that to education, recognizing symptoms and reporting of those situations. KHSAA Commissioner Julian Tackett says most of those concussions happen outside of the actual game.
Yet the vast majority of these occur in practice. And then you have to ask yourself about practice. You've got more things going on at once.
Practice. That's where you may have seen these caps worn over top of helmets. They are called Guardian caps, and the equipment is designed to add more protection for those head-to-head blows on the field.
It's a hot topic in football right now.
William Blair is in his second year as head coach of Madison Central.
I don't see any harm in having them on. Now the players, they typically don't like wearing them.
Now, according to KHSAA rules, players have the option to wear these caps during a game, but it's more common to see them during a scrimmage.
It's just extra precaution that we were having during practice because there's a lot more contact in practice.
Research from the National Institutes of Health indicate these Guardian caps are not effective in reducing the magnitude of head impacts by NCAA Division I players. Tackett has concerns about added helmet protections.
There is a school of thought that when you add things to the helmet and you feel more protected, you take on this gladiator mentality. You do things you wouldn't otherwise do.
Could another layer of protection help the player? That call seems to be under review. In Lexington, Carly Hogston, WKYT.
We have been told that those Guardian caps cost $70 each, and some football teams have 100 players to outfit.